So use the picture at the bottom of the page. We're going to divide the painted area into 3 equal parts. So first, let's think, how can we divide this into 3 equal parts? Who can tell me where we draw our lines to divide it into 3 equal parts? Daniel. So first of all, we're just dividing the painted area. So we're just dividing this part into 3 parts. Yes, Daniel, where do we divide? We draw 3 lines. Where? 1, 2, 3, right? Like that? No? Then how do I do it? Where do I draw the lines to divide it evenly? Yes, Trey?
One in between the yellow and the orange.
Perfect. So that's divided it. Is that 3 sections?
Yeah, no.
Is that 3 equal parts? What do we say? Yes, Ben?
You can do it a whole different way because if you delete that line in the middle, because you can do it where where the stem of the yellow one is?
Yes.
You have to put one there.
So like this.
3 equal parts, and then one in between the red and purple.
Like that? It's red and orange, but yes. Look at how good that works. That works out pretty well right there. That gives us pretty much 3 even spots. Excellent. So, this is it. It says place an X over each part of the painted area. We're fine. Anyway, that represents each part that each student has painted. So we had 3 students painting this. Apparently it took that many students. Now, what fraction of the whole mural has each student painted? So first of all, how much of the mural in its entirety is painted? How much of the mural in its entirety is painted? If this whole thing is going to become the mural, how much of it is painted, Gore? Half of it is painted. So far, we've only painted half, right? And now, what fraction has each student painted? So how much did each student paint, Lucy?
Since there's 3 parts and 1/3.
Yeah, they each painted 1/3. So we're dividing it into 3 groups. We split it into 3 groups. They each painted 1/3. So we divided it by 3, like what I said right here. 1/3 means 1 divided by 3. So we split it into 3 groups. That's what divide by 3 means. So 1/2 divided by 3. We knew it from our lesson yesterday, but as we saw, that means it's the same as 1/2 what? How do we make this easier for ourselves, Daniel? Multiply by 3 over 1. Is that 3 over 1? What is it, Ben?
It's 1/3.
1/3.
A reciprocal.
It is. It's our reciprocal. So, why did we do that? Why did we change it to the reciprocal? Who can tell me? Who can tell me why we did, Hannah? Because we have to multiply. When we switch from multiplication from division, we're switching that. So we have to switch our fraction. We can't keep it the same. Just like I said earlier, if we had this, if we had 2 divided by 2, is that the same as 2 divided by 1/2? No. When we switch one, we have to do the other. Is it the same as 2 times 2? No. When we switch one, we have to switch the other. You might have heard it before as keep, change, flip, where we have keep, change, flip. So here, let's make it 1/2. So our first one, what we do is we keep it. Our second one here, we change it to multiplication. The third one here, we flip it, reciprocal to 1/3. So we get 1/2 times 1/3. What's 1/2 times 1/3, you guys? Who can tell me? Michelle? 1/6. So, in this answer, how much did each student paint of the entire mural? How much did each student paint of the entire mural? Ben? 1/6. So, if we compared and contrasted the division and the multiplication problem, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. You remember my proof from the other day? We had 1/2 divided by 3. We make that 3 over 1 because we can't multiply anything without fractions. My proof looked like this. 1/2 divided by 3 over 1. And we did our outies over our innies. This became 1/6, right? Our proof right here proves us right that when we multiply, we get 1/6. When we divide, we get 1/6. So our proof, the belly button method proof, shows that we are right. So now what I want you guys to try is 1/2 divided by 1/3. It looks very similar to our last problem, so do we think our answer is going to be 1/6?
No.
No, because our other problem had multiplication instead of division. So I want you to do this on your paper, and then I will call on people. Lucy, what's our first step? We keep the 1/2 the same, then what? Perfect, change division to multiplication, and lastly? 3/1, we flip, keep, change, flip. What's 1 times 3, everybody? 3. What's 2 times 1, everybody? 2. So we get our answer to be 3/2 or 1 1/2.
I did the in and out.
Same method. If you do the innie-outie method, you'll still get the exact same results. You'll get 1/2 divided by 1/3. You're going to get outies over innies, 3/2. Same exact method. Now, here's what I want to know. So, Lucy, what is a reciprocal? Exactly. A reciprocal is any two numbers with a product of 1. We took that down in our notes yesterday, so hopefully you had that. It's any two numbers with a product of 1. And the reason that we're doing this, when we do this, what's 7 times 1? Miles? 7. What's 7 divided by 1? 7. When we do anything by 1, are we actually changing the problem? No, we're not changing the problem. So when we're dealing with fractions, however, we do have to flip. That's why we use our reciprocals, because we're changing from division to multiplication. But we do know that whenever we're dealing with multiplying or dividing by 1, nothing changes. Nothing changes. So in this case, we have our fact family check, right? If we did our fact family check, let's look at this. We have 7 times 4. What is 7 times? Actually, I'm going to do this in better color. 7 times, it's going to be intense because it's going to take 7 times 4 is equal to what? 7 times 4 is equal to what? Who can tell me? Jaden. 28. Right. Here's our next fact family part. Here's our next fact family part. 4 times 7. What is 4 times 7? Lucy. It's also 28. Now, there's 2 more things in our fact family. Who can tell me what comes next in our fact family? Michelle. Division. We have multiplication. Our next 2 are going to be division. Same when we do fact families with addition. The other 2 are subtraction. So, what number are we going to be dividing? Am I going to be dividing the number 7? Am I going to be dividing the number 4? Or am I going to be dividing the number 28? Malia. 28. So, I'm going to be dividing 28, right? And we're going to keep our equals where it is. Our equals just follows through that entire section. Now, what's the first thing I'm going to be dividing 28 by? And does it really matter? Let's see. Trey. 4. We can divide it by 4. Sure. What is 28 divided by 4? What's 28 divided by 4, Rafi? 7. So then the next one, 28 divided by 7. And guess what we get? 4. So look at this. We have our fact family here. We've completed it. I want you guys to complete a fact family for this problem that we did. 1/2 divided by 1/3. So, here's what we know. 1/2 divided by 1/3. Do we know that off the top of our heads?
Yes.
No, we don't know that off the top of our heads. But we know how to do it with multiplication. So we'll get there. How do I do this with multiplication? How do I do it with multiplication? Yes, Lucy. Perfect. So I keep, change, flip it. 3/1. We do all of that. Times equals. What do I get in this case? And I'm just leaving it as a improper. 3/2, right? So as we should know, this should also be 3/2, right? Now, when we do our fact families, though, we have to check with our division of our answer with multiplication. I know that sounds crazy, but like, look, here's our answer with multiplication. We use our final division to check with one of our multiplication. Does that make sense? So we use our final answer to check with one of these things. Let's look at this. We have 3 halves. We are going to then multiply it because we're doing the whole thing backwards. It's the keep, change, flip thing. And we're going to multiply it by one of our original numbers. One of our original numbers. So what's one of our original numbers? Lucy? 1/3. Excellent. And what do we get here? What's 3 over 1 times 2 over 3? What do we get total? We get 1/2. We can also use our cross canceling. 3 and 3 become 1 and 1. We get 1/2. Hey, let's look at this. Does this have all the same numbers as we had before? 1/2, 1/3, 3 over 2. 1/2, 1/3, 3 over 2. That's our fact family right there. This is the one with division. This is the one with multiplication. That's our fact family. This is how we can prove to ourselves that we got the right answer. That's how we can prove to ourselves that we got the right answer. The reason I'm showing you this is methods to check your work. So that way, if you get things wrong on your test, if you're doing this, you get things wrong, I know that you didn't go back and use either fact families or use either the belly button method to check your work. So if you get things wrong, that's on you. So let's look at this one. 1/4 divided by 3/8. What's our first step? Nathan, what do we do?
Okay, so you keep the 1/4 the same.
Perfect.
You multiply 3/8, but you have to...
We change that.
Yeah.
And then we change this to 3/8. Excellent. So hey, look, I can cross cancel things, right? Look, there's the 4 and there's the 8. That works, right? No? Why does that not work? Elsie?
Because when you cross cancel, you go diagonally.
Yes, when we cross cancel, we go diagonally. If we were doing that, that would be called a cross cancel. And a cross cancel is not a thing. So we end up getting 3 over 24. What does 3 over 24 simplify to? Who can tell me? Matthew?
1 over 8.
Perfect. We get 1/8. Excellent. Thank you, my lovely class. I did mess up. Look at me. In fact, I am human too. What is 4 times 8, you guys?
32.
32.
36.
So, now can I simplify?
No, it isn't.
How am I still wrong? What did I...
Forgot to flip it.
Oh my God, you're right.
Yes,
I am done.
That is...
We are done with this. Hold on. This was a great example of what not to do. This is a great example of what not to do. I forgot to flip. It turns into 8 over 3. Now can I cross cancel things? Yes. This was a great example of what not to do. Now that we're back on the right track, let's see what happens. Can we cross cancel anything this time? Yes. What can we cross cancel? Just give me which 2 numbers we can cross cancel. Michelle? 8 and 4. What happens when we cross cancel 8 and 4, Fernando? We divide them both by 4. What is that called when we divide them both by the biggest number that they both share? What is that called, Rafi? The GCF, the greatest common factor. We divide them both by 4. What's 4 divided by 4? Say it out loud. 1. What's 8 divided by 4? 2. So we end up getting 2/3. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, awesome, my students, thank you. So, similarly, with future problems, we're going to actually impress us and do it better, where here, we now, if I flip it, have 8/3 times 8/3. Shh. Excellent. Looks like I can cross cancel stuff. Look at those are 3's gone, right? Those are 3's. I can cross cancel them. Can I do that? No, I can't. Why can't I again, Elsie?
Because when you cross cancel, you only cross cancel diagonally.
You only cross cancel diagonally. This is called a cross cancel, and it doesn't exist. So I can't do either of those. Here, I get 16 over 9. I can't simplify that anymore. I can make it into a mixed number, but I'm not gonna. This one, we flip it again. We do our flip. We get 3 over 1. Can I cross cancel anything?
Yeah.
Yes. I cross these. 1, 2. We get 5 over 2. Can't simplify that anymore besides making it a mixed number, which I'm not going to do. Same thing here. We multiply this. It becomes 1 over 4. It becomes 2, 1. We get 2 over 9. Here, same thing. We get 1 over 8. Becomes 2, 1. We get 1 over 10. Same thing here. We get this. We cross cancel. We get 3, 1. 3 over 13. Great. That's how we do it. Super duper easy peasy lemon squeezy.